On the eve of 2025, let's talk about predictions and trends that will be happening in 2025. You don't want to miss it. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back to the Tech Path. I want to thank our sponsor today, and that is Coinbase, a great place to get started on your crypto journey. Very easy to set up too. So if you're brand new to crypto, don't worry about it. It's simple. All you have to do is go to Coinbase.com. Of course, use our link down below. It's going to get you $200 in crypto to get started. And even if you're a business, you can get in on that and really start your journey on Coinbase. So check it out. Let's go over to a couple of things I want to start off with, and we're going to have some slides here. I've got a few clips here, but I want to get into the key categories that I think are going to be the next evolution for 2025. The first one, we think ETH, of course, is going to outperform Bitcoin. One of the things that are happening with ETH and Bitcoin is, remember, the ETH has been a little bit slow to the market. But the real question is how does it perform now that Bitcoin is holding at around 100K? What many people look at when it comes to ETH and Bitcoin is really, how does the United States apply it? Granted, Bitcoin's holding at 100K. ETH has not necessarily had its move, but I want you to think about outside the United States for a second. Let's go to this clip and you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about. Take a look.
Some price targets for Bitcoin and a few other major cryptocurrencies. Yeah, so with the BTC, our target is 210,000.
Excuse me? 210,000?
Yes.
Whoa. Okay.
Well, it's not that crazy. I mean, it's about 100% increase from where we are, and Bitcoin has done crazier things in the past.
Yeah,
and then for Ether, we predict in terms of a ETH to BTC ratio, so recovering back to 0.05 from current 0.03.
Okay.
Yeah, ratio.
Going to half the volume of what's happening with Bitcoin. If you just take a look at the market cap right now in Bitcoin, 1.8 trillion. And currently 400 bill for ETH. If Bitcoin does go to the 200K, this would give us a multi-X on Ethereum, multi-X versus a 2X on Bitcoin. So I think that is one of the key factors of why we think this is going to be taking place in 2025. So watch for Ethereum for sure. I want to go into another scenario that plays into this, and this is just how big China's role will be in this. Take a look.
And so liquidity condition we think will get better next year. But even if for whatever reasons Fed decides to reverse their decision, we have another kind of liquidity kick coming in from China.
Yes.
And then China is they account for a bigger, almost a twice larger portion of a global liquidity than the U.S. I think people often overlook that.
The percentage that they account for of global M2 money supply is just staggering. It's it's less than half, but I think it's about 40%. Is that
correct.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Man.
Imagine that for a second, guys. What a 40% liquidity windfall would be for a market that has not necessarily seen the growth. What he's talking about, that analyst, of Bitcoin going to 200K, ETH going to 0.5 of Bitcoin. That's the kind of growth potential that kind of liquidity can bring. A lot definitely on the horizon for 2025. Let's go on to one of my other topics, and that, of course, is Solana and XRP ETFs and other altcoins will make it into ETFs. And this is something we've been calling for quite some time. In fact, if you've been following our channel, you can see it. 7 months ago, we were actually pointing out Solana, XRP, the next possible ETFs. Now, remember, this was before we really knew that Trump was going to make it into office for sure. And now we've got a much different SEC aligned, a much different landscape when it comes to regulatory frame, and also just the administration as a whole. So all this very positive for these ETF potentials. I want to go to this clip right here because it's going to explain a little bit more around where Solana's potential is. And I think a lot of people have kind of missed this. Take a look.
Yeah, and then for Solana, our benchmark is Ethereum network's peak valuation during the last bull cycle 3 years ago, which was around $500 billion in market cap, and that's about $1,000 per Solana on a Solana basis.
All right, 500 bill. That is the kind of growth we're going to see with Solana. $1,000 Solana. I know a lot of people have said that might be a little bit of an overreach, but that's still a 5x from where Solana is trading right now at around $200 at the end of 2024. So let me know in the comments down below if you think Solana will be able to do that or not. I know there's a lot of big Solana fans, so check it down in the comments below. Another thing that, of course, is going to happen, all the SEC lawsuits we think are going to get thrown out. They're done. Paul Atkins is going to come in and clean house. And if you just take a look at the list of companies, these are all the Wells Notice recipients, okay? Let's scan down real quick. You've got Immutable right there. Let me zoom in. You've got Immutable right there, Robinhood, Consensus, Uniswap, Consensus being MetaMask, Uniswap. Then you go further on down. Many of those you'll recognize, but the big one right there, of course, is Coinbase. All of those, I think, go away. That in itself is going to be huge bullish trends for where the market is going to be trending in the future. The other thing that is going to start to play into this is XRP is going to be poised for maybe a historic year-end close. Remember, we've talked about this before, and I'll show you this on the chart. But right now, it's on track to achieve its highest annual close ever. If you look at the market on this, you'll go back. Let me zoom in on this just a little bit. You'll remember we were hovering at about that $2 mark, 198 to be exact. That is the close that we're looking at. If it closes above the 198, we are in for a very interesting time for XRP. And remember, this is going to be beneficial to the potential of an ETF. And let's not forget, there's a lot of other things that could happen with Ripple. I mean, there could be an IPO. We've got RLUSD starting to play into. All of this is very positive for that ecosystem. So kudos to them. The other thing, of course, I think is the stablecoin. It's going to be a super cycle. I think it begins, and we're going to see massive movement here. Even though Tether is starting to dip slightly, some of this is because of Mika, some of this probably because of people exiting and maybe repositioning. The point being is that it's definitely going to be a huge move forward. Here's USDC continuing to climb up. These are basically over the last 7 days, both of those stable coins. That in itself, along with what we're going to see with RLUSD. Remember, RLUSD holding a 30 million 24-hour volume. That's significant when you compare it to other stable coins. Some of the other stable coins that you'd have to take a look at would be something like PayPal. PayPal holding a $50 million volume. It's within striking distance of RLUSD. And remember, RLUSD, no functionality right now. Really, there's no trading pairs. We haven't seen it on a major exchange outside of Margex and a handful of others. Those are the kind of things that will start to, appear within that roadmap that I think starts to put RLUSD on the map. And with all of that, it's going to be huge. I want to go to a clip real quick. This is Michael Saylor coming to realization of what's happening with stablecoins and tokenized assets. Take a look.
Now I would say my forecast for Bitcoin isn't that different, but I think the big major sea change is you can see $500 trillion of conventional assets getting tokenized to become digital assets. Like, why wouldn't you expect to see Apple stock, Google, Amazon stock trading on your iPhone and your Android phone as tokenized security? The path is open for stablecoin, that to go from $150 billion to $1 trillion to $10 trillion. I think there's $10 trillion of demand for that. I think that we're going to go from $100 billion to a $10 trillion industry in stablecoins. We're just waiting for the framework.
All right, so that's a big statement, going to a $10 trillion market cap in stablecoins, because there's only going to be a handful of those. Imagine what that is going to do for the ecosystems around all of this. Well, part of this will be driven off of real-world assets. So tokenized real-world assets, our next major trend that we're watching. We think this is going to be a factor that you just cannot deny of where this growth is going. And if you look at tokenized stocks, he mentioned that. Some of the ones that he mentioned are already there. Looky there. You got Coinbase, Tesla, MicroStrategy, Apple, boom. It's just a matter of time before we start to see adoption on this. It is coming faster than you think. The other thing I wanted to take a look at was World Liberty Financial Holdings. This is President Trump's financial holdings project. And of course, some of the things to keep an eye on is what has he been doing here lately? All right, so there's his regular holdings. Yeah, we all know that. But recent transactions, there's ENA, stablecoin. Then you've got Ondo, real world asset, Link, real world. You can kind of see there's some growth. ETH right there. So this possibility of real growth in this category is going to be absolutely huge. Let's not forget, I want to also look at the networks. Let's take a look at Ethereum, pretty much holding the line right now in terms of growth. But the ones I'm really interested in are things like Avalanche. The reason, Avalanche holding 7 different projects now on their asset counts versus Solana at 3 on RWA. So the potential for growth, and remember, Avalanche also growing over 3 digits, maybe over 100%. In terms of RWA projects and potential growth here. So Avalanche, one of the big winners that we think will be a 2025 super cycle for real world assets going forward. Let's go outside of those types of real world assets and let's get into NFTs. Here's Courtyard, that's Polygon. Again, Polygon is one that has pretty much led the way. The one that we think will start to move though is going to be Flow. And I want to show you something here on Flow. Guess what? Sneakers coming now in with flow, and this, of course, is BZ doing this. But the point being, if you know the sneakerhead market, you know how big it is, and you know what kind of cultural impact it has. So what I'm getting at is if this works in the sneaker market, we're going to start to see real world assets moving across all sorts of things. It's going to luxury goods, all sorts of things that are going to be real world assets going forward. Let's take a look at Flow right now and their current market cap, holding at $1 billion. And look at that. I mean, they're the number 88 token right now. This is barely even moved, holding at around 69, 70 cents. So this is another one that we think is going to be a big winner in 2025. I want to go to the next category, ARVR, DePIN. You guys have heard us talk about this so much on this channel. That, I think, is going to be a next evolution of where a lot of this stuff is going to go. And one of the things you have to consider about is where is the growth coming from? Here's a clip to talk about who won Christmas. Take a look.
What was the most popular over Christmas? And the big winner this year, again, it was Meta. Just as Brian was saying, it was the Meta Horizon app for those Quest virtual reality headsets. They've been the winners for the past few years that I've been tracking this. Meta also had the Meta View app for those Ray-Ban smart glasses in the top 40. Lemon 8, that's a social video app from TikTok. It was as high as number 2 yesterday. That's, of course, ahead of the January 19th deadline ban for TikTok. But it is made by TikTok, which, of course, is owned by the Chinese company ByteDance.
Maybe because we don't have a good sense of Apple's own products and how they do, right?
Meta, the clear winner there. Remember, Meta has been doing this with a lot more than just the Meta Quest. They also have the Ray-Ban glasses, which are going to have the new, spatial computing lenses on them. But the opportunity there, I think, is going to be huge, kind of leveraging up to this next level. Now, you've heard us do a couple of interviews this year with Over. The Over CEO was on our show. I want to go to a clip because this is talking about mapping, and this is important for AR/VR to understand how brands are going to use this. But look at what he had to say, and then we'll go check up on his scorecard and see if he achieved it. Take a look. Are you thinking that we will see real critical movement in spatial mapping in what, 12 months? 24 months?
I mean, what will be the threshold of number of maps when basically we will have a lot of utility from this database that we're generating? I think that when we are around 150,000, it will be very likely that if you want to publish something in an important location, we will have already the data for that. We believe that we are going to be able to go beyond 100,000 maps by the end of the year, and by the middle of the next year, for sure, being beyond 150,000 locations.
That would be significant. Yeah. That would be significant. I think a lot of companies, even the size of Meta and Google, would probably take notice of something like that.
But we can go beyond that. Like, for example, you're showcasing now us bringing these assets on over, asset from Sandbox. If I wanted to do it with a Web2 game, first of all, I would not know where to take the asset. And second, if I was able to get the asset, probably they would sue me. So that's the powerful thing, I think, about the content and what we can build in Web3.
All right, so he hit on a couple of points there. One is achieving the number of maps that they're trying to do. But also he was talking about the potential of Web3 versus Web2 IP. And that's a big factor because you're going to see a lot more growth potential with Web3 because it's an emerging market. If you look at Dune Analytics, here, of course, is cumulative 3D maps uploaded. Look at the growth that we've seen really all the way back here, just from 23 to where we are right now. This is a bell curve that is continuing to grow. And then, of course, there's the locations map. This is over right there, 91,000. So 91%, not bad for them to be able to hit that number. It's going to continue to accelerate in 2025. We are going to see more of this, guys. And AR, VR, get ready. It's coming, and it's coming fast. And I think we're going to see some Web3 projects really start to take hold. Here's the other, giant in the space. That's Niantic, over 1 million locations that are VPS enabled. And remember that with Niantic, you've got a lot of opportunity here with retail brands. This was with Pokemon Go. All of this was the Niantic potential here. So if you're a brand and you understand what spatial mapping can be and how we start to see AR, VR, especially if we start to see this in glasses tech, which I think is coming in 25. CES just around the corner. We might see some announcements there around a lot of this kind of headwear. But the potential for 25 is going to be huge in this category. Remember, it's just a matter of getting ready for it before we start to see the real evolution. Don't forget, Over also started staking, so we think that is going to be a benefit to Over in general. All right, so let's go over to Hivemapper. Hivemapper is another DePIN project. We've had them on the show before. Ariel's a great guy. We think this is an opportunity for what they've been able to do in mapping roads. Their new unit, the B unit, is now going to be coming out. Finally, that's going to happen. Could we see an acceleration of more of these kinds of projects, especially in the DePIN category? I think so, 2025. Next one, meme coins and AI agents. This one I think is the big one for 2025. Airdrops are going to reign supreme. We have already seen massive growth and already massive movements on this around these meme cultures already. I want to go to a clip real quick to show you what meme culture starts like. Take a look.
You're looking for Elon Musk's account on X, on the social media service. He has changed his name and his profile picture, the photo. The photo now of a, I don't know really.
That's Pepe.
But it says it's a photo of a frog. That's not a frog.
That's Pepe the
That
frog.
is a
that's
man
right. Keep
frog.
reading.
Yeah,
Keep
but it's
reading.
not a frog. It's not a frog. It's a man. It's a man, a muscular man with a frog's face. Named
His name
Pepe.
is now Kikus Maximus?
Kikius Maximus.
But you know what the frog
His
is,
new
right?
handle on is now, well, you say he's Pepe.
Yeah, it's Pepe. It is Pepe. Yeah.
What does he talk about? What is he?
It's just a meme. This was like a big thing in like 2015, 2016.
Well, supposedly the name is of a crypto token that soared, Kikius Maximus, that soared 900%, and that's according to data from another reptile, but this is from CoinGecko. Reptiles are predated amphibians predated
first.
the reptiles. That's right. Right, and then they gained their legs, I guess.
Right. They crawled onto land.
Yes.
Yeah.
Crawled on the land.
Okay, I got it. We're having fun there. But the point being is there's a culture movement that is happening in crypto that I have never seen before in all my years of business and looking at building brands. That's the unique thing. And it's these subtle movements that are taking place that mean massive things in terms of community building, all that kind of stuff. Here's a tweet I put out the other day. This is the Cybertruck. If you guys don't know, the Cybertruck has this ability to maybe change its visual. It's not a big deal, but the point is that you can do this, and guess what? That's the Doge skin right there. I'm showing this. This was in my Cybertruck. You can go in and actually go to the paint shop inside the Cybertruck now and put that skin on it. So can you imagine? I mean, it's just getting a little obvious, I think, for Elon. He's starting to play into these meme cultures in a big way. Granted, I think Doge, Department of Government Efficiency, all this is just too natural. It's just slam dunks that are waiting to happen. What you have is this new culture of memes starting to happen. And this is going to fade over into AI meme tokens and AI agents, which I'll get to in a second. But I'm just going to show you an example of how powerful the original token was that airdropped into the Solana Saga phone. And I'll show you some more value behind that. But BONK was the one. And guess what? They're still number one when it comes to meme tokens, holding that 51 position. Market cap of $2 billion. That's crazy to see that. That's why I think that the power of memes, AI agents are going to be a huge narrative for next year. If you take a look at Virtual's protocol, this I think is going to be one of the big ones that makes it into the top 10. There's many reasons why. But if you look at just some of the projects, there's Toshi, which was a meme token that ended up going into it and developing an AI agent. And then you're going to start to see other projects that actually develop utility. Right there's Polytrader. This is one. If you haven't checked this one out, go check it out and you understand what I'm getting at. This is a very unique one that utility is going to start to function around AI agents. All of this very powerful, just a matter of time before we start to really see some explosions here on many of this. Now, gaming will be the other area where AI agents start to make its way. Here's Parallel Colony showing a little bit about what they're doing within it. And I think the key here that a lot of people are missing is the potential for AI agents inside games. And as we start to see that flow out, that I think is going to be just another area that we'll see an explosion of the agent tokens start to really develop. Last up here, just to go back on the Solana Seeker phone and the Solana phone before we get to the Seeker, this was the original Solana phone that I was talking about. Remember BONK right there? Let me kind of zoom in on that for you guys. There's the amount or value of BONK currently that was airdropped. And if you also have that phone, you got a Klanosaur, which is ridiculous. That's a great NFT. And then now even Pengu is airdropping into that phone. So that phone is continuing to gain value. That is one of the things that I think, again, the meme culture, the whole idea of where communities are built, this is how it all starts. And this is a thing that I think a lot of companies are going to really start to understand. I want to go to a clip real quick because this is about the Solana Seeker which was their second phase of their phones, and why it's so important for the future. Take a look.
This is the Solana ecosystem in your pocket. The next phase, what we call Chapter 2, depended on us selling at least 100,000 units. Chapter 2 sold more units in its first day than Saga sold in a year. Every seeker comes with the Seeker Genesis token. The Genesis token is a proof of a VIP membership into the heart of Solana. Until Seeker launches, the Chapter 2 pre-order token will help keep those rewards flowing to anybody who has pre-ordered Seeker. Solana was the first blockchain to integrate AI, and Seeker carries that one step further. Seeker users can use Alethea AI to generate tokenized AI agents that can interact on-chain with your favorite programs or with the rest of the Solana community. And gamers will find a slew of Web3 games and Seeker exclusives, including limited edition assets and rewards, which will be launching in the App Store when Seeker releases. Seeker will be shipping in mid-2025, and we cannot wait to get it in your hands.
Okay, so I'm expecting a lot of AI agent integration that we're going to see coming out, and it's going to have the capacity, I think, to start to interface with a lot of the Solana ecosystem clearly. But if you look at just the two-loot credits so far, you've got Mu Token, Maneki's in there, a handful of others. I think there's going to be many more. This is the second phone, and the total value on that one, again, almost paid for itself, and that's with a depressed market. So as we see more and more of those start to make it in, I'll see our first AI agent, I think, also in the Solana Seeker that will get airdropped in coming very soon. My last prediction or trend that we think will happen in 2025 is Cardano. They fall out of the top 10. And I think Virtuals takes their place. Virtuals, I think, on the AI side will become a massive win, possibly the number one virtual or the AI ecosystem out there. But Cardano, there's a reason for this that I put this in there. I know a lot of you guys kind of pick on me for that. I'm okay with that. I can take it. But this is, of course, was a statement. Congrats on, this was on our, when we hit 1 million subs. You can celebrate it by ending your regular production of anti-Cardano content. Let's stay objective in 2025. What do you think? I think we just show a little bit of Charles. I mean, and we let him do the content for Cardano. Let's show it.
If Charles can't build a lasting professional relationship between IOHK and Cardano Foundation inside the Cardano ecosystem, why should I expect them to build a lasting professional relationship with organizations outside the ecosystem? This is all heading in the wrong direction, and my confidence in the situation being resolved in a productive manner was plummeting. I've talked to you personally, but if you want it to spill over to Twitter, and since you want to make it go public, we will. For 3 years, we've had private conversations. We've tried everything in our power, everything, to convince them of the wisdom that they need to restructure in a way to be community oriented. The board will never be community elected. And your inference of this is, well, we're just being unreasonable. We can't get along. It's $600 million of the community's money. $600 million of your money, my money, everybody's money. Because that's a war chest for our ecosystem. And it's under the control of people that are unaccountable to the community. What do we do? Who do we fire? What recourse do we have as an ecosystem? Nothing. Instead of just, I don't know, maybe getting Circle to come to our ecosystem. The bigger thing is the builders on Cardano have been starving. We're not deploying it to people building on Cardano. For me, it's a lost cause. I don't care anymore. I just hope that they don't interfere with the ability of the government to turn itself on.
All right, so problems over within the Cardano camp, and of course, I think Charles hit on a couple of points there, is the builders are the ones suffering, and that is the issue that a lot of times ecosystems have, is when those builders don't get that kind of benefit going forward. So, I mean, it's just, it's one of those things we look at. I don't know if Cardano is going to fall out of the top 10, but, it's a fun kind of tongue-in-cheek type thing. But if they don't get their stuff together on that, there could be problems there for sure. Let's take a quick look at the charts. Bitcoin holding it around 93.6 right now as time of recording on New Year's Eve. Likelihood is maybe we see a little bit of a New Year's Eve pump, but right now everything's kind of somewhat flat. Taking a look at ETH. ETH, of course, has been a little bit flat, holding it around 3,300. Of course, the ones that I'm continuing to watch, Solana starting to make a nice little move right now, up slightly, really from right here on December 22nd. Nice little move right there. Avalanche holding it about flat right now. Cardano, and of course, some of the others that we've been watching, there's SWI right there. SWI, of course, also holding flat. What's XRP doing? What is XRP doing? Let's take a look. Trending down. This is going to be a make or break for XRP. I think if we do see this clip above this trend line, we're going to see some movement here for XRP. So Interesting times ahead for a lot of what's happening in 2025. Stick around. If you're not in the Diamond Circle, make sure and get in right now. It's a great place to get additional content. And best of all, we give you additional content that are podcasts, more research, all that available to you just in our email. So easy to join. Catch me out there on X at Paul Barron. We'll see you next time right here on TechPath.